Hello, everyone. Happy Black History Month. Well, when you see this, it'll be March 1st, so it'll be Women's History Month. But it's weird because it's like ending on a Thursday. I guess because it's a leap year, but it would have ended on a Wednesday still. But anyway, happy Black History Month. Happy early Women's History Month. Definitely going to do some things for that. What am I going to do? I have two solid ideas, and then the other two ideas I keep going back and forth with. So there's that. Usually I focus on Black women like all the time, so I'm trying to diversify, you know. Talk about my fair-skinned friends, you know what I mean. Of course, Black History Month is for us, so of course I wasn't gonna talk about anybody white then, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try to diversify. You know what I mean? And I also want to talk about another book. Talk about a book this year. Actually, read another book. So yeah, I have some ideas, but pinning them down is always hard for me. I'm a Libra. I don't really believe in too much astrology, but I do believe that we are very indecisive. That is pretty accurate. And then April's Poetry Month, so I mean I have the whole year to cover whatever, but yeah. Anyway, so today we're here to talk about Summer of Soul, which I talked about on Wednesday that I'm watching, and I talked a little bit about it. So let's get into it. I'm going to tell you all the information on it, the cast, director, all that, my pros, my cons, my overall opinion, and I have my perfect festival list. So it's a documentary. And the synopsis is, over the course of 6 weeks during the summer of 1969, thousands of people attend the Harlem Cultural Festival to celebrate Black history, culture, music, and fashion. It was released June 25th, 2021, in theaters and on Hulu, I think the same day. I've seen promotional pictures that coming out on the same day. It's directed by Questlove. I'm going to include the cast, but these are going to be people who performed at the festival. Stevie Wonder, Mahalia Jackson, I hope I said her name right, Nina Simone, The Fifth Dimension, The Staple Singers, Last Night in the Pips, Mavis Staples, Blanky Williams, Sly and the Family Stone, and the Chambers Brothers, to name a few, because there was a lot. Those are the more famous ones, though. I think they interviewed all of these people. I want to say they did. No, either they interviewed them and they showed their clips. Sly and the Family Stone had a good portion of the documentary. Showed a couple of their performing a few of their songs. And then Nina Simone had a great section. Stevie Wonder had a great section. He came on twice, I think. Maybe 2 weekends. Mahalia Jackson had a great section as well. I never heard of the Fifth Dimension, so that Black Music Month's coming up in June. It's like something every month. Yeah, it could be something I could explore. Where can you stream it? Hulu, that's where I streamed it. Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, YouTube TV. I know it's free with Hulu and Disney Plus. I know that for the Free Palestine and the war against the protesting the war against the Palestinians. I know some people are not using Disney Plus streaming service. They're not supporting Disney. So with that being said, it is also on Hulu if you have a subscription. I think you probably have to pay for the other places if you use it. So yeah. So let's get into my pros and my cons. My first pro is audience member interviews and musician interviews. So I'm going to kind of wing this one because I didn't really write too many notes for this one. I was just going to take it off the dome. But it was really interesting seeing especially the audience members, the people who came, and some of the women, their parents were very religious, so they had to say, oh, we're actually going shopping, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They're really going to the festival. Even though they did have gospel acts, so I feel like Could they have maybe just mentioned the gospel people that were gonna come? I don't know. I guess mainly it was more not gospel. And but yeah, it was really interesting seeing people saying, "Oh, I can't." I went with my family. I went with my friends. How they experienced it, and when they saw their favorite acts, it was really like nice. And people's experiences and having a great time, and just being somewhere where they're kind of, I wouldn't say 100% like not worrying about anything, but they're in an environment where they're there to have fun. They're there for the community. They're for the togetherness, um, and they're there for good music and the community uh, outreach and stuff like that. And the musicians, it was really fun because, especially with Fifth Dimension, they had they were more pop than like R&B or funk or disco or whatever was popular at the time. So people thought they had like a white sound. So they weren't as popular, I'm guessing. But they sounded really good to me. It was a group of 2 women and 3 men. Yes, that would make them Fifth Dimension. So that math works out. But they looked good to me. They had nice, cute outfits. Very. It was like late. I would say it was 70s style, but it was 1969, so they were in style for the 60s at least. It was nice. They did a really good job. Who else did they interview? They interviewed Stevie Wonder. That was really good. And then he had a section talking about his music evolution and his political. I'm trying to think, what is the word? His political views or political support of civil rights activists and things like that. So that was really good. Of course, Happy Birthday, even though we sing it for people's birthdays, actually in support of making Martin Luther King Jr. Day a holiday, which nobody really pays attention to the song besides the chorus. So that's probably why some people might not know that. Who else did they interview? Oh, they had Mavis Staples. I think they just had her voice, so maybe they called her maybe. But her singing with Mahalia Jackson, that was one of her idols, so she was really happy about that. So they sang together. They sang, what was it called? I want to say it's Take My Hand, Precious Lord, something like that. In honor of Martin Luther King Jr. because that was his favorite gospel song. Because he was, a preacher. So, but yeah, they sang the song together, and she really loved that moment. Who else did they interview? Oh, they had Gladys Knight, and it was really interesting. They had her, but they didn't have any of the Pips, which I feel like. I mean, I guess she is the main person, but she did a really great interview, and she was talking about how she was so excited to be in front of all these black people, and I think she said they were at the beginning of their career. She was really young, in the beginning, and she was talking about being at Motown and how strict they were about the choreography and about getting everything right, and her being in front of a crowd that big. I think they had not been in front of a crowd that big before. I think it was 20,000 to 40,000 people. Hope that's right. And there were other artists which are not named, which I cannot remember the names of, but they had definitely had some people from South Africa who had migrated to the U.S. There was one artist, but I can't remember his name, and he was really good. And then I think his son was on there talking about, how the dad came from apartheid from South Africa to come to the United States where, they were integrating. So, he understood the struggles, and he wanted to relate to black people all over the world, which I feel like is really good. So yeah, it was really interesting having all of these audience members. And then at the end of the movie, one of the audience members was like, "Oh, this is so great. It's it's not in my imagination. I know it was real, but now watching the footage of the concert, it's confirmed to him." And Questlove, that was the only time he ever came on. And he didn't come on camera, but he was like, "Yeah, now you see, it really happened." The background info was great. They had like lots of experts, even the celebrities that were talking about their civil rights experiences, uh, the background information, and the fashion. I was going to talk about that in a short video, but I could not find a great picture of the crowd. But they were talking about how, the Motown look was like the suits, real pressed, nice looking, but then you could see like the transition into the 70s of like the leather vest with no shirt underneath, bell bottoms, all these things. So you could see like if you looked at them, like when the camera turns to the crowd, you could see like the difference. It was really interesting. And they were talking about having more Afrocentric clothes because, they were moving in a time where it was Black Pride. And one writer from the New York Times, yeah, she was a writer from the New York Times. She wanted transition to call black people black instead of Negro. And one of her white editors edited it, and she had to tell him, like, no, we're black. We're going to use this term now. Oh, and I already talked about the moon landing, but they were also talking about how, they had other things that they were dealing with poverty and racism and, people coming into their neighborhood or coming across the street even and not really acknowledging them or like, paying attention to their problems. But yeah, they were like, yeah, we got problems out here. We got they had a heroin epidemic. There was poverty, people were integrating or moving north, or they had been moving north, and integration was happening, and they were dealing with that, which, yeah, I don't know. So there was a story about, I forgot, I think it was like an Alabama University, and they sent 2 students to integrate it, 1 man and 1 woman. So it's just them by themselves with a bunch of white people. I don't know why. That was the plan. I guess they were like, we gotta do one at a time. We can't have too many in one place, I guess. But the one woman was talking about who was the first to integrate, I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was Alabama University or what it was, but I can't remember the school name. But basically, she said she was listening to Nina Simone, and the white girl was upstairs. She was on the first floor. The white girl upstairs was banging on her floor, but she's listening to Nina Simone. And Nina Simone has this wonderful song, "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black." And it was really great seeing her perform it. And she read this poem by, I can't remember his name, but definitely I watched the documentary because there's so much. But that was really interesting to talk about. Okay, I talked about politics. And in the beginning, I talked about how the festival was kind of a way to like promote peace because they had just had riots in Harlem because Martin Luther King Jr. had just got assassinated. Malcolm X and other civil rights leaders were also assassinated. So that was another thing that was like helpful to have the festival for. My next pro is just leaving the concert footage like as is, pure. Like there was no weird edits or anything. I like that it was just how it was recorded, and then you could cut in between experts and audience members and musicians, among other people that were just talking about the time period and talking about their experience with the concert. And I feel like that was really good. Just kind of left it. Didn't got to do a lot of extra stuff or anything. Questlove kind of just put it out there, and that was really good. My last pro is the parallels between religion and possession of music, and also connecting to the African belief of possession, but in a positive way. So, like, with the gospel, people stomping, how people are when they get taken by the Holy Spirit, and like, it was very similar, like when I was watching Sly and the Family Stones section, when you're really feeling music, stomping around and stuff. It's very similar, but they talked about it in a very positive way. And I really like that it's not possession as in like your head spinning around and you're demonic, but it's like, a positive way that the music is taking you to another level. The music is really speaking to you. So I really like that. And those are all my pros. And I actually have no cons for this. Like, rarely ever happens, right? I think last week I didn't have any comments, did I? I can't remember. But I don't think I did. Okay, my overall opinion is I love this documentary so much. I love that the footage, the musicians' interviews, and the artist interviews were at the forefront because it feels like you're really in the festival with them, like you're in the crowd, like you're on stage, like you really feel like you're there. You feel like what they felt, and it feels like you're there yourself. I love that Questlove didn't need his voice to be like the main one throughout, because some directors, not saying it's a bad thing, some directors they do like narrate things. But he was pretty much in the background. He was off camera the whole time. I did mention this earlier. He spoke to one audience member at the end of, um, at the end of. I'm getting a call, y'all. At the end of. Now I gotta get my notes again. At the end of. At the end of the movie, he did talk to one audience member. So that was it. And I like that he let other people, including civil rights experts, tell the story of the time. And usually I never wish to go back in time because I'm black. But it would have been nice to go to like the festival weekends to experience it back then, but come right back. LOL. Even though I feel like looking at that, it made me have parallels to like 2020 and the whole Black Lives Matter movement and how like things haven't really changed. So it's like we're still fighting the same fight over like 50 years later. So it's kind of crazy to me. And it's really sad, honestly. And the festival itself felt like a warm, tight-knit, fun type of experience. And of course, it was overshadowed by the mainly white festival of Woodstock. But it's great after 50 years for it to be shared with the public, so that's really good. I'm going to give this documentary a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Definitely watch it for yourself, because like I said, there's a lot of information that I'm like probably leaving out. And some artists I don't remember. But they also had Latin, I always get these confused. They had Latin American artists and Hispanic artists. I'm gonna put both because I know that there's a difference. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not 100% on the difference myself. So I'm gonna talk about what my perfect music festival would look like. I only was able to come up with 5 things, not 10. So, but if you can come up with some more stuff, let me know in the comments. So first of all, it would be free or heavily discounted. That's one great thing about festivals. That's one great thing about the festival, the Harlem Cultural Festival, was that you got to see so many legendary artists for free, which I feel like will probably never happen again because people are so greedy. But it would be nice to have a free / heavily discounted music festival. Number 2, mainly showcasing black artists. Although I feel like today so many annoying racist people would just go to the festival, like the one from the documentary, just to be hostile and be like, what about the white cultural festival? And it's like, white people, whiteness is ingrained in everything, and when it's not, they feel like it's a threat, and it's just crazy to me. It's like, you have everything. Why don't you want to leave us alone? And I wish black people could have events like this without anyone in our business. I really wish we could have those again. Number 3, free or heavily discounted food, and or you could bring your own food. Some audience members mentioned bringing their own food, and it sounded so good to me, LOL. Like, if the people be frying chicken and wrapping it up and bringing it, that would be great. I know some, because I've been to some cultures where you could bring your own food and stuff, but that would be very nice. Or have a little barbecue there. That would be good. I have my personal favorite artists. So my lineup, these are just a few artists. I could name more probably. Beyonce, Janelle Monáe, Usher, Coco Jones, Victoria Monet, Stevie Wonder, Mariah Carey, Keke Palmer, Duran Bernard, TLC, Destiny's Child. So that'd be the long-awaited Destiny's Child reunion. Solange, and Lloyd, among many other names, just to name a few. And I do worry that the different artists have clashing fan bases. So we would have to see how that works, because we have already throughout the year I've seen like Rod Wave, for example, with Ari Lennox opening, and for some reason, and they have different fan bases, and Rod Wave's fan base was not nice to Ari Lennox, so that's a little crazy. So we would have to see, because it's a bunch of. But I feel like they're all kind of musically in the R&B category, so maybe it could work, but we would have to see. And my last thing would be having non-musical acts. The festival and the movie had puppeteers, and I think that would be really good to something fun, pass time between sets. And they had interpretive dance, and that'd be cool too. So once one musician sets up and they have a little show in between, I feel like that'd be cool. So those are my top 5 things I would have at my perfect music festival. Like I said, if you want to let me know what you would have, you can put it in the comments. And like I said, I'm still deciding what I want to do for Women's History Month. If you would like to give some suggestions, that'd be great. But like I said, I have only 2 solid ideas. And I'm trying to do something outside of music related, since June is Black Music Month. So, and I feel like I talk about musicians a lot. But let me know if you have any suggestions. I'm contemplating talking about the Wendy Williams, Where is Wendy Williams show, which I feel like I might do it. And then there's a TV show and a book that's based on a TV show that I want to do that is not music related. And I want to review Abbott Elementary, the first season. I've been wanting to watch it. So those are some of my ideas. But yeah, if you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you all next week.